Welcome back to go-toolz, and today we're looking at the S50 laser distance measure from MILESEEY. And before we start, this video is a sponsored video. However, it will not affect our review. We're going to give you an honest review and show you all the unique features of this device. Now, we had the device for about a week, so we actually got to test it. You will actually see that photo. So now we're just going to give you some of the unboxing experience, what comes in the box, and what you can expect when you buy the MILESEEY S50, or should I say, if you decide to buy, because you made a decision at the end of the review. So it is a very high quality box, as is of quality equipment. For example, if you're buying a device like a cell phone, a lot of times the device will come in a very high quality box, and this is no different. Although it's not a cell phone, but you understand what I mean when I say that. So there's a magnetic flap, you open it out, and you get, if you look at it here, so you get two manuals here, and then there's a sticker placed on the laser, and then in this blue box you get the batteries and the cable. So this is the cable that you get. You can see already high quality graded cable. So the USB type C, then the B on that side there, right? So you see there's nice little grips on the side here. So a good quality cable. Obviously you don't get a block. Usually you don't get a block with these devices. And then you'll actually see the battery. So then you'll see a device has been passed inspection. And that's it. So that's basically the box itself. So let's put that at the side. All right, so let's take a closer look at the MILESEEY and some of the features of this. First off, let's start with the actual physical appearance. It feels good in hand. It's very grippy. It doesn't feel like it's going to slip out your hand. This has a slight plastically kind of hybrid rubbery feel, so it doesn't feel like it will slip out your hand if it's wet. And also, to prevent that, you have this wrist band so that you can pull it along your wrist to prevent it from slipping. As I may or may not have mentioned, I wish they had placed a belt clip on the actual device or on the case, so at least when you're not actually using it, you don't have to put it in your pocket, which I will show you in the video how you can place it in your pocket conveniently. Because it is small. It's almost, I think, smaller than the average cell phone, so it will fit in your pocket comfortably. It's also IP54 rated, which means that it's well protected against dust and moisture. So if you're out on the field and for some reason you're in the rain or it gets wet by accident, it won't affect the device. As you can see, this is well sealed, so water won't get in this part of it. And the device itself is tight. Even this area here where the laser is, water won't get in. It also has a really nice display, which is a 2.4-inch IPS color display with auto rotate. Now I don't have it on auto rotate right now, and we will check that feature when I go into it. So let's look at some of the functions or the buttons itself. So the first button we'll look at is the actual measure button. So that's the measure button here. This is the measure mode. This is your left and subtract. This is your plus and add. This is your settings. This is the history. This is your on and off and back. And this is your reference switch. Now, let's look at the reference switch. So if you look to the corner there, you'll see a nice little icon there. And when you press this button here, let me hold it this way. When you press this button, you see that it changed. So now the reference is from the back of the device to whatever point you're measuring. So at this point, whatever you measure is the entire length of the device plus your measurement. When you press the button again, you notice that there is a red light. So you can clearly see it on my desk. So the reference now is from this point, which will demonstrate in the real world from this point to whatever you're measuring. And then when you press this again, you notice that it's now to the front. So the measurement will be flush with the front of the device. So if you brush it against here, and I'll demonstrate it, you will actually get the measurement from the front. And then the last setting is when you press it, you notice there's a little small, you see if you can get that there, you see there's a little small tripod, right? And that tripod represents the measurement being taken from this point here, which is a 1/4 inch threaded hole for your tripod. So that's that. So let's look now at some of the measuring features. And I said before, there are a total of 18. So we won't be able to go through all 18. You will actually have to discover some of those and how it works when you get one of this. So let's go through. So as you can see, there's a single measurement, and then you have continuous, and then you have point to point, you have wall area, you have volume, indirect length, then you have indirect height, 2 times indirect height, then you have Pythagoras, then you have Pythagoras 1, then you have Pythagoras 2, then you have trapezium 1, and you have triangular area, circular area, cylinder volume, then you have stake out, and then you have single length back again. So that's all 18. So this is some of the settings here. So you could actually change your unit of measurement. So you just press this button, and if you want in meters, 1 inch, 30 seconds, you could actually do that. And you simply change that by pressing this button, and you can see centimeters. Well, this is the button here. Then you have millimeters, meters, feet. Then you have inches, 1/32, and then you have inches, and then you have inches, feet, 1/16. I prefer the 1/16. I think it's a little more accurate for me, and I think it's a little more convenient using that. And then if we go to the left, then you could actually link onto an app, and that app allows you to store whatever measurement on the app, and so that you can store it for your data. So if you're doing the measurement out for a countertop or for a room, you could actually use this and sync via Bluetooth onto another device. And this actually allows you to switch horizontal or vertical. So I'm going to put that on so you can see how that works when we come back out. And this is actually the offset. You can adjust the offset. This is the timer, so you can actually time how long it takes before you actually take a measurement. Well, I don't like that. I think I just want to press and go. And this is actually where you could change the screen from black or white, depending on the environment. If you want a white background or a black background, you can make that adjustment. This is the font size. You can actually change that. Take off the volume. So if you want, you can actually hear the song. So I'll put it on for the video. And then this actually helps you to level. So let's see, my table is level. And the table is level. Let's see. So as you can see how it works. And then if you get level, this is a really nice handy tool. And then you can see here, right? So that's really cool. So to go back, you just have to press back, which is the power button. And then we can continue scanning through. And then you have your favorite functions. You can change your functions, and then you can change your language by pressing. So you have French, you have different languages. Now I'm using English, so I'm gonna go back to English. And let's look at this feature here, which is the font size. So I actually increased the font size. So let's go back. As you can see, it's much bigger. It's a much bigger font size, which I like. I like this. So that's some of the functions there. So let's go back to a feature that I really like. So let's go back. And if you notice here, I'm going to press this, and I'm going to say, let's say you're not too sure how one of these functions operate. For example, one that was kind of confusing to me was the Pythagoras 2. So I was saying, like, what do you mean by that? Now, if you want, there's actually onboard tutorial. That's right. There's an onboard tutorial. All you need to do is press this button, and it actually shows you what they mean. And then you press plus, and it shows you that from the tripod, you measure the top of the point, the second point, and then you press again, the third point, and it gives you the height. And that's how you use the Pythagoras. I think this is 3. No, that's 1. Right? So if we go back, let's say you want to know how the Pythagoras 2 works. You just have to press this function again, press plus, and it shows you 1, 2, 3, and then you get a measurement. So I really like that feature. I like it because sometimes you don't want to pick up the manual. It actually shows you how to use it. So you're not too sure, it shows you how to do that. So all these features are going to be used on the field. So let me just zoom back and go back to settings, and let's show you how the screen looks, the different color screens. So let's go, right, so right now it's white, so I press and I go back, and as you can see, the screen is black. And then if I go back to settings, I press it again. We go back, the screen is white. Now I'm using white. I think white looks a little better on camera. Now when I'm outdoors, I will test it out and show you how that looks. So that's how many features. Now, before we move on, I don't like to get too techy because to me, for the most part, you're gonna figure out most of that on your own. As I said before, the max distance this kit actually measures 400 feet. It can actually withstand temperatures up to 10 degrees Celsius to 45 degrees Celsius, which is really impressive. And as I said before, it's powered by AA NiMH battery, and you could actually store up to 30 sets of data. Now, speaking of sets of data, so let's say I'm going to take a measurement. So let's say I take a measurement. So see, all right, I take a measurement here, then I take another measurement. I take another measurement. Let's say I want to get rid of those measurements. I simply press history, and then I press this button again. I press history again, and then I can press minus or plus, and then it says delete all. And I said, all right, I want to delete all. Press enter, and it clears the history. All right, so that's how I hope to go back. You simply do that. Now I don't like how big the fonts are, so I'm going to go back to settings and change the fonts back to a more smaller. Where is that? So let's go here. Let me see. All right, and change it back, and that's how that works. So yeah, that's basically it here. If anything else, you will see the rest of the review. I actually take it outdoors and test it. All right, so let's go outside and test the MILESEEY S50. All right, so we're going to measure that distance here from here. But I want to say something now. The visibility obviously is going to be difficult because the more sunny it is, the more difficult it is for you to spot a laser light. And this is the reason why you need to get a laser detector so that you can see that distance. So I, for the most part, I'm sort of blind of where the laser is going to land. So as you can see, we're on measure. We're going to take it off of the tripod. All right, let's measure and see. Right, so we have 237, which is impressive. Now I can't see that obviously, but that's the measurement I get here. Now if I use the tripod, let's see what we get. And $331. So obviously that's minusing the length of the tripod. So we see that it really does work. Now obviously it's going to be difficult for me to measure 400 feet, so we're going to try that and see if the signal picks up. Let's try again, and it's 59, so that means we're a little closer. So that means the measurement is most likely picking up that house there any distance, and that's the reason for that measurement. Okay, so we're going to demonstrate how indirect works. As I said, there's so many, we're just going to focus on just a couple. So we want to get the size of the opening of that window. So we're going to indirect measurement, and this is how indirect measurement works. So you measure the top, the bottom, and then you'll get the measurement. All right, so let's use that and see how it goes. We got the measurement, 1 feet 6 inches 5/8, which is pretty accurate. So now we're going to try to get indirect length between the two ceiling points. All right, so we're going to do point to point, and point to point is basically, so we want to get 1 point and next point, and as you can see it's on a tripod, so we're going to test that out now. As you can see, it's set to tripod. All right, so we have that point. Now the other point, and it's 14 feet, which is pretty accurate for that distance. All right, so that's our look at the MILESEEY S50 green beam laser distance measure. And we like this laser measure. There's a lot of features that we like. it has a bunch of features that for more complicated measurements. We did a couple of those, and obviously if we did all, this video will literally be hours because there's so many features. So we'll leave that up to you when you actually get this device. We're going to put a link for it. Now, it's not a link that has any sort of monetary benefit to us, but it will help you to get the device, and I think it's going to be a little cheaper during Black Friday. And I want to mention also that we're going to do a comparison between the S50 and Bosch. So I want to put the picture here we're going to compare it to the Bosch GLM 165-27 CGL. So we're going to compare this with this and see how it stacks up. In that video, we might do a little more into other features of the laser, so look out for that. All right, so thanks for watching. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, put on your notification bell for more videos like this. We have, as I said before, other videos, and if you have suggestions of what you would like us to review, feel free to do so. All right, so thanks for watching. Again, we want to thank MILESEEY for sending the tool over, and look out for the future reviews. All right, so thanks for watching, and see you on the next video.